Underdog stories are about trying, not always winning. La Haine by Mathieu Kassovitz is a French movie about three friends, Vince, Saïd, and Hubert. They live in a Paris suburb. Police violence is prevalent and tensions are high. Fantastic Mr. Fox, on the other hand, is an American stop-motion film where a fox must steal from rich farmers to live a better life, despite being poor. This video essay will explain how repressive power systems are present in both films, causing the affected characters to seek an escape.
Il faut que je parte. Faut que je parte d'ici.
They're both about underdogs who try to beat a system that keeps them down. We'll look at four things: mise en scène, cinematography, sound, and editing, to compare how these films tell their stories. We'll use our class book, Film Art, and two other articles to explain why these underdog stories show how different styles can say similar things about class injustice. The mise en scène presents class injustice in interesting ways. In La Haine, the Paris suburbs are dark and crowded. The tiny apartments of the friends' town all feel crowded with either old furniture or people. This is done to give off a tight prison-like feeling, as if they're trapped, telling us how repressive systems hold people down, making poverty nearly impossible to escape. Graffiti covers the cracked walls and streets, making the place feel hopeless. In Fantastic Mr. Fox, rather than using symbolism to depict the characters as small and weak, Anderson makes the animals literally small. The film takes a somewhat neutral approach to the issue of class injustice. It points the finger at a higher power that is at play, which is capitalism. Mr. Fox wants more, so he moves to a big grand tree. He doesn't have the money to afford the tree, and his accountant even tells him that the move from his burrow is a terrible idea.
Don't buy this tree, Foxy. I think you just got to not do it. Plus, moving into the most dangerous neighborhood in the country for someone of your type of species.
The tree in question is excessively big. It is a symbol of how capitalism causes the appearance of wealth to be more desirable than actual wealth itself. In other words, financial security.
How the cuss should you qualify for this?
I pay my bills on time.
When Mr. Fox realizes that he's in over his head, he looks out from his new house, and what does he conveniently see? This gives him the great idea to steal. Suddenly, the fridge is excessively full, and the farmers feel the need to fight back. There are many shots that have the frame full of things, often food. This theme of excess is a form of anti-capitalist messaging, pointing to greed as the root of all issues. Both sides are excessive, though. The farmers dig massive holes to get to the foxes, blow up huge amounts of dynamite, and even flood the hole with more cider than Mr. Fox could have ever stolen. This shows the viewers that the farmers are already rich and simply greedy. This theory gets confirmed at the end of the film when Mr. Fox says he's never seen an apple without Bean the Apple Farmer's signature stars on it.
And even these apples look fake. But at least they've got stars on them,
telling us that he has a monopoly on the apple industry. La Haine feels claustrophobic, sad, and heavy, trapping the characters, while Fantastic Mr. Fox's colorful world feels hopeful and almost satire. As for cinematography, both films give off the feeling of insignificance and despair. In La Haine, the most noticeable thing is the black and white. The unimportance of color gives the film a pessimistic tone. Look at how the film just looks off if I add color to it. It doesn't give off that same emotion. Additionally, the black and white shows how Vince sees the world, but also it shows how the outside world perceives him and his friends. Hopeless boys who will never amount to anything. The shaky handheld camera movements bring the viewer into the action. In the notorious Vince mirror scene, the camera zooms in on his face, showing his anger. He's poor and ignored, and he wants to be heard. Also, notice the use of the wide-angle lens. This is only used when they're in their suburb. When they go to Paris, there's a dolly zoom, switching to a longer focal length for the entirety of the time that they're in Paris. This is done to show that they're no longer in their natural environment. They're now outsiders who are perceived differently. Back in the suburb, tracking shots like when the cop chases them through the hallways makes you feel immersed in the chaos. The boxing scene's low angles make Hubert look strong, even if the black and white pessimistic tone hints that he won't win, or maybe miss the fight entirely. In contrast, the Fantastic Mr. Fox uses neat centered shots that look like they were taken out of a picture book. This allows for the dialogue to go a long way. This isn't done to save time or money. Wes Anderson does this intentionally. It's a characteristic of his films. In addition to driving the dialogue, it also lets the viewer orient the subject while having things happen in the background. Now, despite the circumstances, the color of the film is oversaturated, making the film feel hopeful rather than pessimistic. That said, there is a handful of moments where there's little color and a dark environment, and that is around plot point 2 when the animals are washed down into the sewers. All hope feels lost. Now let's look at the sound. In La Haine, loud hip-hop music and city noises like sirens fill the suburbs, making it feel condensed. The rooftop scene where friends talk and laugh shows they're strong when they use their voices together. In Fantastic Mr. Fox, happy music like Beach Boys songs and animal noises make the heists and chases feel fun. The music plays into the prosperity and relentlessness of the film. They both utilize sound to show hope. Fantastic Mr. Fox's cheerful sounds feel playful, making a big issue more digestible and easier to understand. Though the effective sound is similar in both films, the editing is where the parallels are the strongest. When Mr. Fox is with the other animals, the cuts are very slow. In La Haine, when all the friends are together, it's the same thing. However, when there is action, both films have fast cuts. But I want to focus on the slow cuts when there is an action, because saying action scenes have fast cuts is like saying water is wet. The lack of cuts forces the viewer to focus on what people are doing or even saying, even if it's boring. It shows comfort but awareness. There's no B-roll to be distracted by. They must stay on their toes, out of the way of angry farmers or murderous cops. Though we looked at mise-en-scène, cinematography, sound, and editing, the only way to fully understand what the films are about is by watching them. I don't want to spoil the ending in case you haven't seen one of the two films, but I think you can guess which one has the happy ending and which one has the sad one. Regardless of the endings, both films are about class and justice at their cores, showing how affected groups tend to seek an escape. Success may vary, but without an attempt, repressive systems will always prevail.
L'important, c'est pas la chute, c'est l'atterrissage.